welcome to Love Talk. I'm Gregory Morgan. Thank you for joining me. The show is about any place where you find yourself stuck or hindered in some way in your relationship. Anywhere where you are successful in life, your success will be measured by how successfully you relate to other human beings. Where that relationship seems to break down the most is the relationship between masculine and feminine. If you're worried about people thinking that you're a fool, then the truth of the matter is you're pretty close to what you think that they're thinking anyhow. It's foolish to be worried about what other people think because you have absolutely no control over what other people think. For the most part, you don't have any control over what you think. It is what it is. It has very little to do with you in the first place. So what other people think of you is actually none of your business. You don't need to be concerned about it. What you might want to be concerned about is where are the boundary limitations of your own thinking. Sometimes you learn by making mistakes, and I think that that's probably the best way to learn. I've made so many mistakes that I think I will make some more so that I can keep learning. So I challenge you to go out in your life and to make mistakes. To don't listen to, what everybody says. Don't worry about people's opinion. You and I are born with certain conditions that cause us to believe that we can't trust ourselves, that our own inner voice is not good enough, or that it's wrong. I'm here to tell you that there is a part of you, part of every human being that is beautiful and wise and infinite and has access to something that is sacred. It has no questions. It only knows the answers. All of my work has always been to try to uncover whatever's between you, your own internal wisdom, your own internal knowing. There's a knowing that is available that is without reason. In other words, there's no logical way that you could or would know that. And then, of course, logic always jumps in and wants to explain everything. We've had a number of questions that have been sent in by email, and you're welcome to do that. We will answer them on our show when it comes to answering people's questions, because very often it is the questions that I ask you that end up uncovering your own wisdom. You see, if you ask me a question and I just give you the answer, then you don't have a chance to own that question. You don't have a chance to really own that answer. But very often, one of the ways that I work with people is ask them a series of questions that have them uncover their own answers, rather than just counting on the answers that I've come up with. In that sense, it's a much stronger realization because you begin to uncover your own realizations. One of them is called inductive learning, and the other one is called deductive learning. In deductive learning, you ask me a question and I just answer it, and that's it. You get the answer. Now you're in a position to either judge and evaluate that answer and see if it's right or wrong or good or bad. In other words, it goes into another part of your reasoning mind that has to judge it and see if it fits. Now, if it doesn't fit or it makes you uncomfortable, then your mind will decide it doesn't fit, doesn't work because it made me uncomfortable. Inductive learning is where you are in an inquiry, not just asking a question, but you are inquiring of yourself to look within and without and to adjust your thinking so that things can come into alignment. So this is more like an inductive kind of learning in which your own reasoning comes to the surface, your own intelligence comes to the surface, and you're able to discover for yourself things that really you already knew. A lot of people are dealing with problems and they will do everything in the world to deal with this problem except the one thing that would actually get it handled. Very often, it just takes somebody to say, well, what if you just did this? Even though that thing has always been available, they've somehow avoided it because it's usually the most uncomfortable thing or the thing that would actually making a final decision to deal with it and never have that issue again. My thinking is that when you learn a lesson, and life is constantly giving you lessons and challenges, when you learn that lesson, you don't have to keep learning it. You ever had those lessons that come over and over and over? You keep having the same problems, and this problem looks just like that problem, and this relationship looked just like that last relationship, which kind of reminded you of that other relationship, and there seems to be a series of things going on that get worse usually before they get better. It's because you're not learning the lesson. You're being given the lesson, but you're not internalizing it so that you actually discover your part in it, how you somehow have some say-so about that, and adjusting your thinking, your being, your actions, and your behaviors. And sometimes it means adjusting your environment. Sometimes you actually have to move to another location or remove things from your environment, people and relationships from your environment. Sometimes you actually have to change locations in order to acquire the abilities to deal with situations that have been challenging you for a long time. But if nobody ever asks you that question, if nobody ever challenges you to do that, then you'll just keep staying in the same situation, repeating the same problems over and over again. That, by the way, is the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that it's going to turn out different. You don't need to be a psychologist to realize that, right? That's just nutty behavior. So anyhow, I'm going to go over some of the questions that have been sent in to us recently. One of them is, Dear Mr. Morgan, my husband is starting to complain and he is always in a bad mood. He avoids looking at me and says he's tired, but then he stays up and watches TV and falls asleep on the couch. The question is, what should I do? Well, your husband's got something going on. Your husband's got a secret. If that's the behavior, that behavior is indicative of undelivered communication. There's basically only three things that cause this kind of an upset. An unfulfilled expectation on your part or his or both, maybe both of you. Since we're discussing the husband's behavior, it's pretty clear that he had some kind of an expectation about marriage, about you, about himself, about your relationship that has been unfulfilled. Now, that doesn't mean it's your fault or that you're responsible. It's just that he had an expectation. Maybe it was an unrealistic expectation. Maybe he expected that he would come home and always be in love, and that you would always wear a sexy negligee and seduce him and entertain him. I don't know. Maybe he had an unrealistic expectation about life. But nonetheless, an unfulfilled expectation will cause somebody to withdraw or to be angry and grouchy and not communicate. Now, not communicating something, in other words, if he just came to you and said, look, I had this expectation about our life, about our marriage, about myself, about my career, about whatever it is that's troubling him, that never happened. And I'd like for you to be my partner and work with me to cause that to happen. Will you do that? I bet you the woman asking this question would be happy to do that, to work with him, to have those expectations fulfilled in so much as they are reasonable expectation, obviously. Unfulfilled expectation, an undelivered communication. There's something he's not saying. That's why I say he's got a secret. Now, that's something he's not saying could obviously be that he's having an affair, because that's what I think. Personally, that's what I think. If somebody tells me he's coming home, he's grouchy, he doesn't want to participate or communicate, that he's complaining all the time, that he says, nah, I'm tired, I don't want to deal with anything, and then he stays up late and falls asleep on the couch, and that he's always grouchy. This is an undelivered communication, and it's a pretty significant one, and he is resigned about it. In other words, he's not going to deliver this communication. He is communicating. And he's communicating with his actions, he's communicating through his behavior, but he's not communicating with his words. He's not saying, listen, there's something I got to tell you, something I haven't told you and I need to tell you now. You see, nobody's taught him to do that. He hasn't been to communication courses. He hasn't been to therapy and the kind of places where, I'm assuming, okay, it's a pretty safe assumption that most men have not been in any kind of a communication type workshop where you've learned to actually talk straight, tell the truth, own up to the things that are embarrassing or that's hurtful or that may even be threatening to you, and be able to courageously stand up and say, you know what, this is something I did, I'm ashamed of, or I wish I hadn't done it. I see that it's caused some pain and hurt and suffering, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to do whatever it takes to make up for that. Most men are not predisposed to communicate in such a fashion. Most men will communicate by withdrawing, going into their cave, so to speak, becoming non-communicative, and then they communicate by being grouchy or being sloppy or being late or disappearing and not communicating, not saying where they're going or when they're coming back or any other number of things. So it sounds like that kind of a communication. And the fact that he avoids looking at you says more than all of it. When we have something that we don't want to be seen in us, the last thing we want to do is look into the eyes of somebody who knows us well. Looking into the eyes of someone who knows us, or even a stranger, is very threatening for somebody who has something to hide. So your husband has a secret. What should you do? You should let him know that I don't know what you're hiding, but you're hiding something from me. And I want you to know that I love you, I'm there for you, and I'm willing to hear whatever you have to say. However, this behavior, this grouchiness, being uncommunicative, this withdrawing, staying up on the couch and not participating with me and the family, that's unacceptable to me. And I will put up with it as long as I can, and then when I feel that I can no longer tolerate that, either I'll leave or you will. There has to be a consequence, you see? If it's just like, well, okay, just go ahead and be that way as long as you want, I'll put up with it or tolerate it. Get used to suffering, get used to being alone, and you can expect to start being abused, because it is abusive when you live with somebody and you say you love them and you share your life with them and you withdraw and don't communicate with them. That is a kind of abuse. Now, it's not like getting slapped or knocked around, but it's abusive in the sense that there is a sort of trust that comes with love. That trust is being abused. I trust you to communicate with me. I trust you to love me. I trust you to be affectionate with me. I trust you to tell me if there's something troubling you and give me a chance to help if I can. I trust to tell you if you're unhappy with something about me that you would like for me to change, so that I have an opportunity to change that or to do better. There's a lot of undelivered communications in a relationship. There's a lot of things that are said in the silence in relationships that people don't necessarily verbalize. And while that's normal, I wouldn't say that it is optimal. I wouldn't say it is the best way to manage your relationship. Anything that you can identify and communicate about, you can manage. I'm going to say that again, because this is true in business, it's true in relationships, and it's true in your own mind. It's true when you're struggling with something in your own thought processes. Anything that you can identify, that means you can put a word to it. Communication, right? Anything that you can identify, you can manage. And the best way to manage something is through communication. If you're tired, maybe that's not true. Maybe the tiredness is a result of, or a symptom of, that you're holding on to something and resisting something, and you're sad about something, or you're resigned about something. You've given up where you had some hope, and now the hope is gone, and you no longer see a future in which this desire or this need could be fulfilled. So people become resigned. So you see, I've put a lot of words out there: resignation, hope, love, creating a future. These are all things that you can identify that very often people just can't put the words to it. So they just get in a mood, and the mood becomes dark and gloomy without any words to it, no hope of communicating. You can communicate yourself out of depression. You can communicate yourself out of deep resignation. You can communicate yourself out of tiredness. Tiredness is just a symptom. A lot of you will argue with that, and sometimes I argue with it as well. But ultimately, I have proven to myself, and my wife is proof of that every day, because she can outgo everybody around us. Everybody that works together with myself and my wife, we eventually gets tired, and she just keeps going, saying, "Why is everybody so tired?" She just keeps going. Now, I'm always joking that she's like that Energizer bunny, that she just keeps going and going and going, because she's communicating. She's not resisting anything. She's saying what's there to be said. And so when you identify something that is stopping you and you communicate it, and it is gotten by another so that it's received, there's a certain amount of energy that is released from that, and that energy leads to greater and greater things. And so tiredness, it turns out, is a symptom more than it is the source of something. People say, I'm not communicating, I don't feel like talking because I'm tired. And I believe that the opposite is true. You're tired because you don't feel like talking, and you don't feel like talking because you don't want to face up to something that, may be ugly about you, some deficiency in your character, something that you're afraid of, something that you don't understand. So when you can just say, look, there's something I'm afraid of and something that I don't understand, something that I feel like I'm not up to, that I'm not good enough about, you've already identified the thing, you see? And that's my whole point. When you can identify something, put a word to it, when you can identify it, you can manage it. That was about that question about the husband that's complaining and withholding and, what should I do? Start talking. Start getting him to talk. Call and set up a therapy session for yourself. Invite him to come along. I think that both of you need to be in a therapy session so that you can get the dialogue going. Start talking. Start communicating. And start to clear up whatever's there in the space, in the silence, that's being communicated by this behavior. Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air.
Hello, how are you, Mr. Morgan? I have a friend, and she's sitting beside me, and she cannot speak in English, so I'm asking her. Okay, she's asking that she's a married woman.
Yes.
And she has feeling toward her husband's friend. She wants to know that how she can kill this feeling.
How could she kill the feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think you can kill the feeling. However, you don't have to do anything about it. I know this sounds funny, but feelings are non-negotiable. You feel the things that you feel, and they're not right or wrong or good or bad.
No, just
right?
She has.
There are feelings, and they're real. The feelings are real. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it. Blaming herself for feeling what she's feeling is doing something about it.
Yeah.
Now, watch this carefully, what I'm about to say. Guilt is also a feeling. So we attempt to make ourselves feel better by feeling guilty. In this case, I have feelings towards my husband's friend. I feel bad about it. I feel guilty about it. Therefore, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
I have feelings for my husband's friend. I must be a bad person. I feel guilty about it. Therefore, I'm a good person. So the more guilty I feel, the more better person I am, aren't I? Yeah. So what I'm saying is do nothing about the feelings. Don't flirt with him. Don't call him. Don't be extra nice to him. Don't avoid him. Do nothing.
I feel bad about that.
Yeah, I just got through telling you what the bad feeling's about. She feels bad so that she can feel better about herself. You see, because she's guilty, that makes her a good person.
I think that if she doesn't do anything about that, this feeling by itself removes or no?
It'll just go away. Well, it just goes away. I mean, if you entertain it, if you fantasize about it, if you try to catch their eye or flirt with them, make special situations so that you can be around them, yeah, that's called doing something about it. If you avoid them, that's called doing something. I'm saying do absolutely nothing. Literally allow something to be there. If you allow something to be there, it will allow you to be.
Yes.
Okay, now I don't know if you're going to be able to explain this to her, but anything that you can let it be, it will let you be. Now I've discovered this in the woods with animals. I've discovered it with my own feelings. Listen, you don't get through life without having inappropriate feelings at some point. People have inappropriate feelings all the time, meaning feelings that can't go anywhere.
Yes.
Right? The feelings can't go anywhere. If they do, there'll be hell to pay, right?
It means that she has to manage this feeling, not killing or...
Well, she's managing it by identifying it. So she's done something really interesting. She's asked you to ask me. Now that's doing something about it, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to know that it is natural because
yes.
she sometimes has these feelings, or she thinks that she's maybe sick or bad person.
No, I think it happens more than most people would like to admit, that husbands like their wife's friends, wives like their husbands' friends, boyfriends like their girlfriends. I mean, that stuff happens all the time.
So it's not because
yeah.
she thinks that she's sick.
Yeah, what would be childish? What would be childish or immature would be to do anything about it, right? Mm-hmm. That includes don't suffer about it. Just notice that it's there. Okay? Notice that it's there. It's like a beautiful thing that you can't have. There's lots of beautiful things that I can't have, right? It wouldn't be appropriate.
Right.
If I had everything that I want all the time or everything that I like, my life would be destroyed. So it's okay to have things that you like and just appreciate them for what they are, and just appreciate them for what they are. And beating yourself up, feeling guilty, doing all that, that's adding drama. Don't add drama to something that's already uncomfortable. If she's tracking him or stalking him on Facebook, she should stop doing that.
I told her that if you continue chat in Facebook, even like your brother, maybe he feels intimacy with you later.
I would just disconnect from the profile. Literally. If there's somebody that you're attracted to and it's invading in your thoughts and causing you to have feelings that are inappropriate, what there is to do is to cut off the source of that, off so that you're not troubled by it. If you want to stop smoking cigarettes, don't hang around people that are smoking all the time. If you don't want to drink, don't go over to your friend's house who like to always have lots of drinks around. And if you have an attraction towards somebody that is inappropriate, then stop going there and feeding that attraction. You see what I'm saying? Because she's indulging in something and then she makes herself feel bad. Remember what I said about guilt? Guilt is a false emotion. It's something that we make up in order to feel better about ourselves. I did this bad thing, but I feel bad. I feel really, really bad. I feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
Right? The more terrible I feel, don't you feel like I must be a really good person because I feel so bad?
Right.
So don't buy into guilt. Guilt is a BS emotion. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have compassion or empathy, but that kind of guilt, I do something bad, so I feel... Guilt is a signal that you're doing something inappropriate. That's all it is. And what there is to do with guilt is stop doing it. That's like saying, I gamble and lose all my money, but I feel really bad about it. But next week when I get my paycheck, I gamble and I lose all my money and I feel really bad about it. What there is to do is stop doing the thing that you claim to feel so bad about.
She told me that once she blocked him from his Facebook, but she was not comfortable and she didn't have good feeling. That's why, again, she connected him.
She's indulging in her fantasies. She's also cheating energetically on her husband. Yeah, it is cheating because spending time and energy on somebody that she promised in her wedding vows to be only for her husband. That's what we say when we get married, right? I'm going to give you all my love, my attention, my sexuality, my affection. I'm going to honor you. I'm not going to do anything that would embarrass you publicly or privately. But she's doing that.
Yeah. Also, she's asking that is this cheating or not doing something about it?
This is cheating.
She's asking that this feeling.
The feeling in and of itself is just a feeling. Look, this is water, right?
Right.
This is coffee.
Yeah.
Both of them are liquid, right?
Right.
Is there anything wrong with this? Mm-hmm. Is it right? Is it good? Is it wrong? If I drink the coffee, am I cheating on the water? These are the kind of questions you want to ask yourself. Neither one of them is right or wrong or good or bad. They just are what they are. She feels what she feels for this man. I can tell you that it is a biochemical reaction. It's not some kind of spiritual awakening or anything. This is not her soulmate or the love of her life. The guy looks right, smells right, walks right, dresses right. There's something about his charm that triggers a biochemical reaction in her, and she has some feelings.
Right.
If the guy suddenly got wasted and fat and ugly and started being a jerk, she probably wouldn't feel that way, right?
Yeah.
She feels that way because he does certain things that turn her on. Well, lots of people do things that turn me on. I don't go around feeling guilty about it either. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't do anything about it. I just appreciate it for what it is. That's a beautiful woman. That's a lovely dress. I love when I see that woman walk across the room. So what? It's normal to be attracted to we are sexual animals. We're attracted to the opposite sex. So that's normal. Now, to feel all bad about it and to make it a secret and, to follow somebody around and then feel bad again and then all that's not normal. That's kind of immature behavior that's kind of like high school stuff. It's a little bit adolescent. For an adult woman to be attracted to another man is perfectly normal. to go around feeling guilty and worried about it and start tracking the guy on Facebook, well, I think that's a little bizarre.
She's asking that should she tell this feeling to his husband, that I have feeling to your friend?
Yeah.
Because she says that if I tell my husband, her husband then helps him to solve the problem.
Would help her to solve the problem?
Yeah.
I think that anything that you keep secret eventually grows. It becomes like a little secret that you're keeping over here. Maybe it's just a little thing. You know, you think about it when you take a shower, or you think about it when you go to bed, or when you're driving your car, and then it becomes a bigger thing. And then you go on Facebook, and then it becomes this big secret. But it was just a little thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. You know, there's things like that have made me uncomfortable with my own wife. And I've said, you know, I've shared with her things that made me feel uncomfortable. You know, now, not everybody has this kind of relationship, but I hope that you grow into these type of relationships. In a mature relationship, you know, you would be able to say to your husband or your wife.
She says that if I talk to my husband, then trust of my husband to me will not be damaged.
Well, I don't know how fragile her husband's ego is.
I know her husband. Her husband is a good man.
Does he have a strong ego? Is he sure of himself and confident?
Yeah.
You know, if my wife told me she was attracted to my friend, I'd say, okay, I got it. I know who she's coming home to, and I know my friend. He's not going to do anything about that. It's like, so what? We're married. You promised to be true and faithful to me, and I promised to be true and faithful to you, and I'm doing it. Feelings are non-negotiable. I keep saying that. And you cannot negotiate your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. She feels the way she feels. That's it. You can make a big deal out of that. Or you could kind of look at it like, okay, so what? I like chocolate, so what? It's not like, ooh, I like chocolate, I should like vanilla, I shouldn't like chocolate. Oh, I feel so guilty for liking chocolate. You know, now the vanilla is going to get jealous that I like the chocolate. I like chocolate, I like vanilla, you know. So the same thing is true. You can't control what you feel. You can control what you do. And if you're mature, you can also control what you think about and what you do. A mature person, if they have inappropriate thoughts towards somebody, they can go talk to themselves and say, stop thinking about that, you know, and I have done that. You know, I think have you ever like thought about something that you shouldn't be thinking about, and then you go, okay, wait a minute, I just put that out of my mind. That's a mature person who's in control of their own life.
Yeah.
You know, an immature person who wants to be a victim is like, oh, I feel this way and I can't help it, and what should I do, and I feel so bad. That's just being a victim.
Saying that.
Being responsible means, okay, so what? I feel that way. I don't have to do anything about it. The whole point of this conversation that I hope that everybody will get, not just your friend and you, but that people will begin to understand, because I said it earlier, when you can let something just be there, you just let it be, it will leave you alone. It will just let you be. And like a cloud disperses when the sun comes out, like a raindrop dries up and evaporates, like a cube of sugar in the bottom of a teacup dissolves, feelings do that too. Feelings go away. Feelings aren't permanent.
Yeah.
Even if you love your husband or wife, or the person that you said that you're totally in love with for the rest of your life, even that goes away, doesn't it? Feelings go away, and so do inappropriate feelings, as long as you don't keep feeding them by doing weird little things.
Yeah. If you wait, the feeling goes away.
If you do nothing about it and just allow it to be there, like don't make a big deal out of it. I have some feelings. I said one thing to do. Stop tracking him on Facebook. Stop going and looking at his pictures and reading all the little things and, you know, putting those little like thumbs up every time he walks the dog or something, you know?
Yeah.
Poking and all the stupid things that people do on Facebook, right? That's called flirting.
Yeah, because she wants to chat with him as his brother, but I say that no. She wants to think that he's his brother.
No, he's not. Does she think of sleeping with her brother?
She thinks that if I think that he's like my brother, then I can make myself comfortable. And
too late. She has erotic feelings towards him. It's too late. She could do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Literally nothing about it. The only thing I would suggest that she does do about it, but again, this is an advanced conversation I'm about to have with you. The advanced thing to do, the mature thing to do, the adult thing to do would be to to communicate with her husband about it. Most people are not equipped to either communicate clearly or to even hear a communication like that. That's why I say it's a little risky. You should maybe go to a therapist and have a session together, or have a third person there as a mediator that can be present. Just say, look, there's something I've been hiding and I feel terrible about it, but I need to tell you, I want you to know that I'm not going to do anything about it, but I have these feelings towards your friend. Every time I see him, I feel attracted to him. And I promise you, I'm never going to do anything about that. I didn't want to hide that from you, because you're my husband, and I don't want there to be anything between us that I'm hiding. I want you to know that I'm there for you and that you can trust me, that I'm a woman that you can trust. Now, that would be a pretty advanced conversation, and it would probably completely deal with that thing. It would go ahead and tell her that. Tell her that, the best thing she could do is communicate in a clear and truthful way and reassure her husband that she's never going to flirt with the guy or do anything inappropriate, and then she better not do it.
You say that let this feeling be and don't do anything about it. But she said that I can't concentrate on breathing, on doing anything. What should I do?
Stop being controlled by your feelings. Be an intelligent adult and get in control of your life. Stop being a victim. Oh, I have these feelings and I can't do anything about it. The husband, sorry, honey, I was on my way home from work and I tripped and fell in a woman. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I had no control. Come on, grow up.
I told her to do exercise.
That's all doing something about it. But if that's going to make you feel better, fine. You should do exercises anyhow. But if she's doing exercises, thinking about the guy, then all it's going to do is anchor it physically, so that every time she exercises, she thinks about the guy. You can't not think about something without thinking about it. Okay, it's like if I said to you now, don't think about red. Whatever you do, don't think about red. You can't not think about something without thinking about it. You can't just go around and say, oh, I'm not going to think about red now. Because as soon as you don't think about red, you think about red. You have to think about red in order to not think about red. And the same's true for this guy. So I'm saying, stop trying to think about him. Just don't indulge in it. Get in control of your life. Be an adult. If you're incapable of doing that, then I suggest that you get a coach like myself or my wife or anybody else who actually has the ability to guide you to be in control of your life. That's what I do. You don't need to do anything about your feelings except allow them to be there. Just allow it to be there. The way it is, without changing it, without avoiding it, without focusing on it and trying to do something about it. Just let it be there. Like the cup of coffee, just let it be there. Just let it be there. You don't have to do anything about that. Just let it be there. That's number one. Number two, communicate. And she started doing that. She communicated with you. Now I suggest she communicates with her husband clearly and concisely. Honey, I got to tell you something. There's something that I am uncomfortable about, and I want to tell you about it. Number three, stop tracking the guy. Disconnect on Facebook. Stop going and looking at his pictures and thinking about it and all that stuff. Stop doing that. Those are the best things that I can tell you that I know work.
Thank you so much, doctor.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you. Thanks for your trust. Bye-bye. Feelings are non-negotiable. Emotions are when those feelings start moving into an action of some kind. When they become words. I love you. I need you. I, want to be with you. Those are actions sourced by a feeling, but now the feeling is moving. Emotion means energy in motion. So you're releasing the energy through emotion. One of the things people do is they make the feeling wrong. I shouldn't be feeling that. It's wrong to feel that. I'm a bad person if I have those feelings. Then I mustn't let anybody know, so I should never communicate this. I should keep it as a secret. Those secret feelings then begin to grow, whether it's anger, love, lust, horniness, whatever it is, okay? Whatever the feeling is, if you start to hide it and not communicate it, it will just grow. This is just a law of physics. Anything that is suppressed eventually becomes harder and stronger than whatever is suppressing it. So if you're suppressing your feelings with guilt, if you're suppressing your feelings with shame, if you're suppressing your feelings with hiding, then eventually those feelings just become stronger and stronger than whatever is suppressing it, because The energy you're using to hold something down is energy that was intended for your growth and development. You're pushing down when really the source of life is growing up and out, like a tree, if you will. By trying to keep something down, you're actually suppressing your heart, you're suppressing your life force, you're suppressing your thinking. Anything that you are suppressing within yourself is making you become stupider, dumber. It's making you become tireder. It's making you become older, angrier, duller in every way. It's causing the light to go out, okay? And every cell in your body will resist that. The push for life, the push for self-expression, the push for love, truth, and beauty and knowledge, that push that comes from within to push out into life is so much stronger than anything you can use to suppress it with, that eventually it will come out. However, things that have been suppressed long enough often come out in the beginning in a very distorted way. Maybe you've been suppressing something about, sexuality or some sexual feelings or something, and then when those feelings finally come out, it could come out in very often weird or bizarre ways or ways that are embarrassing or inappropriate, you see. So whereas if you had just allowed those feelings to be expressed in the first place, it would be quite natural and healthy and normal. Feelings of frustration or anger at some injustice, if you suppress those and you never express them, then one day, you'll drop something on the floor and explode and start kicking the furniture and acting crazy in an inappropriate way, because the anger that's been suppressed for so long will come out in an inappropriate way. So I'm proposing to people that whatever your feelings are, allow them to be expressed, allow them to be there. Very often, not so very often, but from time to time, because of the agreements we have in our life, the agreements that work. One of the agreements that works is when people agree through marriage to be there for each other in a monogamous fashion, and to give all their love and devotion and caring and sexuality and finances and in other words, to be a partner for life with another human being requires a kind of devotion to that partnership. I'm not saying being devoted to the person, being devoted to the partnership. To make that kind of an agreement with somebody, from time to time, you will have feelings perhaps about somebody else or something else that may be inappropriate to the partnership. If you have a partnership that is dedicated to raising happy, healthy kids and sending them to college and having them have successful, happy, healthy, wealthy parents, maybe that's a commitment that you have. And, well, if it is, I hope that you do. In that case, you may have an inappropriate feeling called, I want to spend all the money and go travel all over the world. Well, that may be a really very real and valid feeling, and it's not a wrong feeling. However, it may be inappropriate to the partnership, inappropriate to what you said you were up to. Maybe you feel like, man, I want to go on a vacation by myself and just drink, or a valid feeling. However, it may be inappropriate to, as an example, as a father or a mother for your children. So I'm just saying, having an inappropriate feeling towards a friend of your husband or wife is not that unusual. I think it's very common. Why? Because the person that you love loves something about them and is for good reason. They're probably a very good person. And so you feel close to them. It's normal. If they're of the opposite sex and you start to have sexual feelings towards them, you could say, well, that's inappropriate. It's inappropriate to the partnership. It's inappropriate to the agreements that I made. The appropriate thing to do is to stay on track with what you agreed to. Have some dignity. Have some honor. Have some self-awareness. Have some integrity. And communicate. Communicate with the intention of clearing up this mess, clearing up this inappropriateness, not indulging in it. You see, indulging in your feelings, indulging in your emotions, and then claiming to be a victim, at the very best, a weak and inappropriate approach to life. I'd like to speak with those of you who feel that you are the person responsible for your life, that you are the person in control of your life, and that when things that come to you that are not in your control, you do not control how you feel. You control what you do about it. You control your behavior. You control how you handle the emotions, that means the energy and motion that comes out of those feelings. You're responsible for that. You have the ability Responsibility means the ability to respond, yes? So you are responsible to handle those things in a way that would be appropriate for an adult. Don't go around saying, oh, I don't know what to do, and, I can't think, I can't concentrate, and all like that. That, snap out of it. Snap yourself out of it. Go stick your head in a cold shower. Do something to bring yourself back. That's it for this show. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. This has been Love Talk.
قدم به قدم از آشنایی تا عشقی ماندگار توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان. هر کجای رابطه که هستی، پیش از شروع، ابتدای راه، قبل از ازدواج و یا مزدوج و بچه دار، با شرکت در این سمینار خارق‌العاده عشقی ماندگار در زندگی خود خلق کنید.
اگه واقعاً بخواید که فکر بکنید که من مرحله به مرحله چجوری با یک کسی آشنا بشم و چجوری رابطه رو تشکیل بدم که تبدیل بشه به یه عشقی که ماندگار باشه توی زندگی من، حتما بهتون توصیه میکنم اونایتون که واقعا براتون مهمه یاد بگیرید این مراحل آشنایی تا نگه داشتن یه رابطه. حالا همه میگن خب من نمیخوام ازدواج کنم، منم اصراری ندارم کسی نمیخواد ازدواج کنه نکنیم، ولی لااقل یاد بگیریم یه رابطه سالم رو بتونیم نگهش داریم. خیلی هیجان دارم برای این سمینار. تشویقتون میکنم برای اونایتون که به خصوص تورنتو یا حومه تورنتو هستید، اگه براتون امکان پذیر هست، که 17 سپتامبر در خدمتتون هستم.
17 سپتامبر در تورنتو در آقاخان میوزیم 7:30 عصر. بلیط‌های خود را همین الان از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth تهیه کنید. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com. در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان خود واقعیتان و همچنین مردان را بشناسید و با استفاده از قدرت زنانه خود روابطی سالم و عاشقانه بسازید. ایروان ارمنستان 31 اکتبر تا 2 نوامبر، تورنتو 15 تا 17 نوامبر و همبورگ 28 فوریه تا اول مارچ. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com. یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. ایروان ارمنستان 15 تا 17 آگوست، تورنتو 20 تا 22 سپتامبر، همبورگ 18 تا 20 اکتبر و لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 مارچ. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. سمینار جذاب از بی‌یار بودن تا دلدادگی توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان.
اگر ازدواج کردید و رابطه اونجوری که دلتون میخواد گرم و صمیمی و پر از عشق نیست، اگر در قسمتی از رابطتون هستین که فکر میکنید میخواید اقدام به جدایی بکنید، نکنید، بیاید این سمینار. بعداً چیزایی رو که تو این سمینار میشنوید برید و در رابطتون پیاده بکنید، بعداً تصمیم جدی بگیرید. در هر مقطعی که هستید واقعاً بهتون توصیه میکنم که این سمینار خاص رو از دست ندید. به جرئت میتونم بگم بهترین سمیناریه که خودم تا حالا روش کار کردم.
با این سمینار متفاوت مخصوص مجردین و متأهلین دوباره عاشق شوید. روتردام 4 اکتبر، لندن 5 اکتبر، استکهلم 6 اکتبر. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی Embrace Growth بپیوندید.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Rosita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
سمینار جذاب از بی‌یار بودن تا دلدادگی توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان.
برای خودتون روی ورقه بنویسید که هدف من اگر میخوام این سمینار رو برم، هدفی که میخوام بهش برسم و تاریخی که میخوام به اون هدف برسم کیه، و بعد همین الان این بلیط رو تهیه کنید. به خاطر که به سرعتی که اون بلیط رو تهیه میکنید به سرعت رسیدن به اون هدف نزدیک میشید. سر موقع بیاید توی صندلیتون برای این سمینار بشینید، توی سمینار نوت بردارید و مو به مو چیزایی که تو اون سمینار میشنوید رو برید و اجرا بکنید و ببینید زندگیتون چه میشه و اون هدف چقدر به سرعت اتفاق میفته.
با این سمینار متفاوت مخصوص مجردین و متأهلین دوباره عاشق شوید. روتردام 4 اکتبر، لندن 5 اکتبر، استکهلم 6 اکتبر. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com.